Good afternoon, everybody. Shuffle in, some empty seats at the front here. We want this to be the #1 show of the day. My name's Lucy Atchison, I'm a business consultant working here at Salesforce. Welcome to Building Advocates with Agentic Marketing. We have a star-studded cast for you today, whom I will introduce you to very shortly. But before I do, I want to introduce you to the most popular slide of the day. And this is a love letter from our legal department encouraging you to make purchases based on current functionality. Speed read it. Yep, great, moving on. So, the guys will come up on stage very, very shortly. But today, folks, we have a veritable smorgasbord of loyalty experts, all eager to give you their POV and experience in designing, enabling, and launching loyalty programs in ANZ. We have Mr. Miles Tulin, subject matter expert and all-round titan in the field of technology. We also have Mr. Clinton Hearn, the client I am most excited to introduce you to, who is the lead of the recently launched Flight Centre Travel Group World 360 program. I got it out right first time. And Mr. David Parsons, founder of the preeminent ANZ loyalty consultancy Ellipsis. This is your lineup. Without further ado, let's get into it. So, from me, 7 minutes, I've already used up one, a reflection of the golden age of loyalty. Ladies and gents, it has been 30 years since the launch of the Tesco Club card, and I was very privileged to be a very young, teenaged member of that team. 30 years also since Fred Reichheld wrote his seminal text, The Loyalty Effect, exposing the startling retention truism that businesses lose 50% of their customers every 5 years if they fail to understand their motives, drivers, and emotional attachment to their product and brand, and don't engage nor attempt to build a mutually beneficial, bi-directional relationship with them. Fred was essentially encouraging businesses like yours to appreciate for the very, very first time that loyalty wasn't a department. It was a brand new cultural commitment. Now, fast forward 30 years, I am that old, we have observed a massive uptick in the focus on loyalty in the first half of this decade, generally recognized as a hangover from the pandemic when brands really felt the pressure of not being able to physically have contact with their customers and risk the gradual defection at best and total irrelevance at worst, as consumers completely reassessed their life choices and what value means to them. We have come a long way from taking mag tapes to the printers. I'm looking at some LDHS Tesco friends who are in the audience today, which is fantastic. We've come an awful long way. Hard to believe, actually, that Tesco in the UK and Boots have now teamed up with the Cancer Research Foundation in the UK and are now using their loyalty data to predict the onset of cancer. This blew my mind 2 or 3 weeks ago when I read this. High praise indeed for this incredible category. So, what are the forces elevating loyalty today? Well, #1, the bring it to me now era is entrenched. Habits we developed during COVID have stuck, especially given the lingering cost of living crisis. It's clear that the economy and generations are behaving very, very differently than they did pre-pandemic. Hello, Tom. Come in, take a seat at the front, love. People are behaving very, very differently than they did at the beginning of the pandemic, and everybody in this room needs to be working hard to recognize those behavioral and transactional changes and adjust their rules of engagement in order to thrive and build the lifelong advocacy that we all seek. Loyalty, or rather delivering value, enabling entirely friction-free experience and rewarding people for their attention and hard-earned cash has never been more critical in a world where in many cases people are spending more time alone, although that's hard to imagine today with this crew. They visit Perplexity before Google and they expect immediate gratification, be that parcel delivery, offer management, or status point accrual. Loyalty has had to grow up and mature increasingly quickly into a discipline which is pervasive throughout an entire organization. And if the above wasn't enough, latterly has had to cope with the inclusion of AI anticipatory personalization in its arsenal of functionality almost overnight. 3 additional truths that I certainly consider when developing a strategy. Number 1, Forrester predicted last year in 2025 that brand loyalty would decrease by 25%. A reminder that brand preference and generational loyalty is not sacrosanct. And we, as creators of reasons to believe, need to assess and evolve how we show up and wrestle attention away from our competitors, if not daily, then at least weekly, or it feels like weekly from my perspective. 40% of us also claimed that they traded down last year, value spending, if you will, to save money in one category, to splurge, and I love that word, to splurge on desired items in a different category. I can see a few nodding heads in the audience there. A clear indicator that folks are reevaluating what value means to them. And this is eye-wateringly prevalent in a generation that none of us can ignore, Gen Z, who are now, like loyalty, all grown up. Gen Z is the largest ever generation, children of the pandemic, and are the first entirely digital generation. And if we are bombarded by 7,000 plus messages a day, you can be sure that these guys are feeling that bombardment most acutely. And it's these guys, no matter what your brand, these guys are those who are starting to judge you. Your brands and the meaning and the value and the authenticity and the empathy that you represent to them. And sadly, Gen Z see loyalty programs as something that their mums do and are all about coupons. Far from the truth I keep telling my sons. They prefer tangible, immediate benefits though, versus long time points accrual. So we absolutely, everybody here needs to think about how we engage and retain this huge segment of society as they enter the global economy for the first time. And I noticed that just last week, as ever, Tesco has moved early, as they've announced this month rolling out Club Card to under 18s, recognizing that these kids are the future loyalty advocates that we all seek to engage with. But how do we do it? How do we connect with someone that we've never met? Well, winning over both sides of our brains is critical. Putting attention to how we make sense to a human, as well as how we make them fall in love with us, creating authentic bilateral rewards, which will deliver a positive ROI in due course, speaking to rational and emotional motivations, leaning in to experiential surprise and delight actions, which will elicit emotional responses, which are so critical. And they represent much stronger memory structures than rational incentives alone. Loyalty can be so much more than coupons. But being nice and doing lovely things to people is great, I appreciate it, but programs need to make money. And therefore, at the heart of a program, it needs to become an anticipation engine. Miles will talk about that more in a little bit. The 2026 loyalty landscape, guys, is no longer defined by simple rewards delivery, but by the ability to orchestrate complex, AI-driven customer journeys in real time, based on business needs, and has had to grapple with the orchestration of a panoply of financial levers, mechanics, and incredibly creative tech functionality to deliver the right message to the right person at the right time. And our loyalty cloud, I sort of pretend that I own it, our loyalty cloud is that engine room of anticipation and subsequent experience delivery. Loyalty is tech. It is all about data, but it should be a creative expression of your brand and how much you genuinely appreciate human beings. And it's our job, Miles and my job, to help people who get stuck. We have identified that businesses tend to manage entry-level transactional value exchanges, but when they need to accelerate to behavioral and predictive and agentic programs, they're unsure how to do it, and they also need to understand when return on investment will be realized. Genuinely, the technology and data solutions that we are demoing for you today in this room have been built to ensure your journey from Basecamp to a very exciting AI-enabled pinnacle, which will set you apart from your competitors, and one which the Gen Z hordes will not only expect, but demand in due course. Before I finish up, I know I'm already going over, Miles. Before I finish up, I hope that I've provoked action and appreciation of the importance of this incredible category. And ladies and gents, if you answer yes to any of the questions up here on the board today, then we really need to be having a conversation with you to understand how we can support you through what I hope you all recognize is the golden age of loyalty. Now, Mr. Miles Toolin, over to you. You don't have to clap.
No, everyone should definitely clap Lucy. Thank you so much, Lucy. And everyone, this is Ivan, he's our demo driver, so I want Ivan to have a little clap as well, please. All right, so again, thanks so much, Lucy, but I want to just talk about one of those key things that Lucy just mentioned, that anticipation engine. I just want you to think about what that means. Think about your customers. Every moment in which they touch your brand, you could essentially anticipate what they need in that moment. And that's where loyalty, it's a strategy. It's not just a product set, it touches everything. I get the pleasure of taking you through the product and what that future state experience could look like for you. But first, I just want to understand the things we're seeing every day. I have a teenage son. You know, I think whoever has kids in here knows how they shop. They definitely don't shop. I'm a bit of if I'm going to buy, let's say, a $15,000 holiday overseas, I usually sit down on the laptop to do something like that. He probably does it on his phone. But as marketers, I'm going to assume that you all know these life cycle stages that you can see. But AI is definitely changing the way that all of these things happen and the way we interact. And I get to show you that today. We know 66% of our frequent online shoppers regularly use AI now. That's pretty astronomical because like a year ago, that didn't even really exist. Conversion, 24% of consumers are comfortable with AI agents in marketing. So if we think about that, if I can have a two-way conversation in email, if I could have an agentic conversation and then be serviced up something to purchase, that's what that means. Service, think about how service are impacting AI agents across the board. And then loyalty, why we're all here. 4.3x people redeem if they have personalized rewards given to them. But we all know as marketers and customers that have personalization every day, personalization has stalled. And we all know it's not a new idea, but progress over the last decade has been limited to high cost, fragmented systems, and the missing data. But AI now makes this possible, and we now deliver true, scalable, one-to-one personalization. The mutual value in personalization, I just want to work left to right because I didn't really do a build on this slide, so sorry about that. I know it's a lot to take in. But think about foundational personalization and if we started there and then where we end up to. So content or products, everyone should be doing that. It's just a reel, goes across your homepage, product recommendations. Predictive personalization, we've been doing that for years. The key thing I want to call out is the next stage, anticipated experiences. If I know something about my customer, I know who they fly with, I know what they like to sit, I know they sit in luxury, they fly business class. Why aren't I serving them that type of content? Why am I just spamming them with endless SMSs and emails? It happens every day. We're all customers, happens to us every single day. Let's move past that. So what does Salesforce do about it? Well, that's why you're all here. Meet your Agentforce marketing stack. Foundationally built on Data 360 and a trust layer, we then layered all of our marketing stack on top of it as microservices and topped it off with an agent layer to serve and work across the entire stack. And that's what I'm going to show you end-to-end what that looks like. So we've defined our increasing customer demands, we have showed you the stack to support it, and now we're going to anticipate how our customers look. But first, let's go on a little holiday with Lauren and our potential future state experience and what that could look like, and we'll jump into a demo. But first, a little bit about Lauren. Lauren is a 360 Rewards member. We know she's flown with us to luxury or tropical escapes in the past, but now we don't know much else about her outside of that. We know she likes business class because she spent a lot of money on those flights, so let's go book a trip. So imagine now you've got an agentic experience and someone comes onto your website like Lauren and she wants to go and book this trip. But Lauren first logs in the top right and goes to her profile. We can see all of Lauren's 360 reward benefits, everything she has access to. She's a paid member. So if we go through and look at my benefits, we basically see all the things that are included as a 360 reward member. But these are all, think about it, preference center, right? This is pretty standard stuff. It's been around for years. This is where all this stuff lives. Right, so now if we go out, we know, we've understood, let's go and book that trip with Lauren. It's February, I'm pretty sure the powder in Japan's pretty good, so Lauren probably wants to book a ski trip to Japan. So let's click that. So now what's happening is, I just want you to take it in, this is what we call adaptive web. So essentially, we're interacting with an agent on the left-hand side, and in the middle, the content changes based on the interaction. There's intent, there's signals, all of that's being transferred in real time via the website, and then we serve it back up to you. So, hey Lauren, we know it's good time in Japan. Yeah, yes, February works for me. Lauren clicks February. Have you noticed also though, Lauren isn't even typing. She's just being suggested. She's being anticipated things that might be relevant to her in that moment. So she's just clicking. Yep, I like luxury escapes. We might need to do a little bit of profiling to understand what this trip's about. She loves luxury escapes. She's an avid skier, so we're probably not going to serve her, anything that might put her off from being an avid skier. Does she want to do a few experiences? We know she likes luxury travel. Obviously, she's going to go dining at some hatted restaurants, sure. Right, she selects her dates. How many nights is Lauren going? 9 nights. Pretty expensive trip. She's booking it for next week. All right. So now what happens is you can see that curating the experience. And then you can see what happens is we basically serve up, but the top 2 recommended are based on all the intent and all the data that we know about Lauren in that moment. Lauren likes the sound of it in a Seco ski trip, so she hits select that package. We then go, hey Lauren, this might be a good time in the background. Let's upsell Lauren on some potential activities also from one of our partners within the program. Let's add some activities. We then might add an avalanche safety and backcountry course, and the reason we add that is obviously we know she's an avid skier. So we give her that, and we give her the backcountry powder, and then we select and add those activities. So if you think about how long this has taken me, it's taken me about 2.5 minutes. I've basically helped Lauren book a trip worth $12,500 based on the flights and all the experiences she likes. I've added more activities, so I've upsold and converted her basket in that moment as well. And then you really like this bit. I anticipate that I know she only flies Qantas. Hey Lauren, do you want us to show you Qantas flight only? Yes, please. Show me those flights. So now Lauren quickly selects those flights. It's all booked. It's business class. Everything that we know about Lauren has been served to her and anticipated. Lauren completes that booking. Perfect. Now I'm going to show you the true power of the Salesforce platform. If you can jump to the CRM screen for me, please, Yvonne. And here we go. So now all of those signals, all of that data, every single thing that we just went through is already surfaced in the CRM screen for Lauren. So the one thing I really want to call out though, because I know I'm running out of time, is that next best action on the bottom right-hand side. If you read those, it tells us, hey, maybe this is an upsell opportunity within the coming days to put Lauren into add a luxury Japan dining campaign. Surely she's going to buy it. Some premium travel insurance, double points on dining experiences. We can add all of those things to Lauren in her build up to her trip in the next 7 days. And then in the middle, we just want to show that travel history. We click through, we can see all the recent escapes. We can see all of her preferences, they're already here. You'll see she loves, obviously, winter sports now, 5-star hotel, spa facilities. We know all of this. And then, obviously, we can see all of her loyalty data. This is the entire Salesforce platform, end to end, all in one pane of glass for anyone who needs to look at it. So what you just saw, I'm not going to read this verbatim, it's more of a takeaway. If you want to take a photo, please do now, because I'm going to move on and introduce the 2 legends onto the stage, the 2 guys we've been waiting for. So Dave and Clint, please come join us, guys. No worries, mate.
He's got that, he's in control.
Thanks, Miles. That was great, mate.
Cheers, mate.
All right. Well, thank you, Miles. Thank you, Lucy. Hi, everybody.
Hello.
We really are in this golden age of loyalty. There's, so much excitement in the market about opportunity, and there's this focus around how do we execute. We're really grateful, and I'm excited to have Clint up on stage with us here. Welcome, Clint.
Thanks, Dave. Cheers for having me.
So Clint is the EGM of World 360 Rewards. He has led the launch of this new program, really exciting program. I don't know if you've seen Clint outside. There's been a lot of marketing of Clint. And if you look at him today, he's in tremendously good condition. Normally when you do a project like this, you end up looking not as good as when you started, but if you compare the from to, what's your secret, Clint?
I was well behaved last night, but the photo outside, instead of airbrushing me, they chunked me up. They air chunked. So this is the real version.
The reverse Ozempic. All right, so look, I'm assuming you're all members, but there is there's a gate at the back of the room here. You're not allowed to leave unless you sign up, and there's a QR code coming, so get ready for that. If you know anything about Flight Centre Travel Group, it is an absolute monster of a company. They are such an impressive business. They have over 30 brands globally. They do over $28 billion in turnover each year, and they service over 90 markets. Very early on, we got exposed to the magnitude of this ambition, and we know that they don't do things by halves. And when we when my team started talking to Clint and his team, we said we are all in on this. This is a industry-defining move, and so we're going to hear from Clint in a moment about what it's taken to sort of go on this journey. Clint used to be the rock star CMO of Flight Centre brand, and now he's running the loyalty business. And what we saw early on with Clint was that he saw something that the others didn't. What he saw was that this loyalty move was a way to really accelerate Flight Centre Travel Group's ambition to open up the world for those that want to see. So we're genuinely excited to have you here today, Clint. Enough about me, let's get into some Q&A.
Awesome.
All right, so take us back to the start. There was an ambition. Talk to us a little bit, what were the key drivers and challenges that you faced into when you thought about launching your loyalty business?
Yeah, it's been interesting. To set the scene, there probably hasn't been a points-based large travel program launched in the last 20 years. The last one was probably Velocity back then, which means it's hard to do and it's full of opportunity. So with that, we wanted to see what was happening in the market and what was showing around there. And it was sort of covered before. Customers are changing, and what they expect from you when they buy is a lot different to what it used to be. The under 30-year-olds, if they're purchasing from you, they want something for nothing, and they want it all the time. The mature market definitely knows how to, and they know points as a currency. Like it's getting put in prenups and wills and all this sort of stuff now because the value it is money. Competitively, there's some great other entrants, well, competitors and also friends. Like you look at the airline space, you look at the hotel space across the board. People are entrenched in them, and they have been for a fair chunk of time. So it was a consideration, how do we complement them and not take away? And then you have big players that aren't travel focused. So banks, other different areas in South Africa, like Vitality, that are coming into the travel space because travel is aspirational, but now it's not I wish I could do it, it's a right, and people expect it, and they will move around to be able to do it. So we looked at all of that, took a lot of our own insights and looked at our own customer value proposition that we had singularly in brands, but how do we start to tie them together, have more of a offering for the whole entire group. And we asked ourselves this question: if travel is the top aspiration, why is no one rewarding the full journey? And why is no one purely focused on just getting Aussies traveling more? Brilliant.
Fantastic. Okay, well, let's keep moving. So you've set the ambition, you've identified the opportunity, and that's the first step, isn't it? And then there's a question of, well, how do we pull this off? If you think about 30 brands, if we think about the scale of the business, the integration. Talk to us a little bit about, how did you think about the capabilities that you needed to integrate to be able to deliver on what we can see here as a world-class loyalty experience?
Yeah, I guess first to give people some context for if you haven't seen it, I am on brand, travel is the points. Like what we are designed around purely travel. So you can earn and redeem on every bit of travel, which is very unique in market. No one else offers that. We complement the current programs in market, so you can double or triple dip. So many people spoke to me yesterday about the double status credits that Qantas had at the market. I want them. I want to maintain, platinum, and the same with Velocity in there. You can get that. Come and buy from us. You'll get your Qantas points or Velocity points. You'll get your status credits, and you will also get World 360 reward points. Plus, if you're using your loyalty credit card or rewards credit card, you also get that at the same time. So that was really, really important. Plus, we've got 2,500 agents as a point of difference. So when we looked at the design, buy, build integrations, let me tell you, it was brutal across the board. We had to think about all those areas because we're coming into a mature loyalty market, and we wanted to have quite a large ambition of what we were looking to achieve there. So, on that, knowing that we need to show value very quickly, that instant gratification that was up before is very true. I want something very quickly now. Meant that we had to go through and trawl our data, trawl our customer value propositions, look at what we could do with AI to make sure that we integrated into our 3 launch brands, Flight Centre, Cruiseabout and Travel Associates, which covers a myriad of different customer segments. Plus we were launching our own Wealth 360 Rewards brand at the same time. This meant we had to integrate with over 22 systems, some of them legacy, so I feel for anyone that has legacy systems out there. She's hard. We bought in and built 5 new systems. We doubled down on Salesforce. We were currently using Marketing Cloud and had done a POC for Data Cloud or Data 360, whichever brand that they want to call it these days. And then we had to do some work there. But we had blind spots. We weren't loyalty experts. We had done a bit in the personalisation space, but how do we take it to that next level so we can get to a position to be able to anticipate? And that's when we brought in experts. So we brought in Ellipsis, great loyalty expertise to cover all those blind spots we had and tell us what we didn't know. We worked with Deloitte. We worked with Silver Bullet from a MarTech perspective. And then we obviously worked very closely with Salesforce.
Brilliant. Thanks, Clint. You covered a lot of ground there, mate. And I think the why Salesforce question's a really important one. Just quickly, in the interest of time, but you were working with Salesforce, but it wasn't a default that you would do all of this with them. So you went through quite a considered process, didn't you, to land with, where Salesforce. You are today? Yeah.
I think if you ask Salesforce, they'd probably say it was a brutal process, and as it should be, if you're working with any good partner, take them to task. But we needed a couple of things. Travel is only bought 1 to 4 times a year. So we needed to make sure that we had the ability to bring on more partners and more partners outside of travel so we could get that accelerate earn so people could get traveling faster. So that was a key point. 2, we looked at that data network. So data is the new fuel, it is worth a lot. So how do we have a system in place across what customers give us, what we could put in Data Cloud from our sales agents and CRM so we could sort of track that really well and be able to utilize that in the future was important. And 3rd, we have a paid subscription. So how do we be able to do that within a loyalty management system? So it sort of needed to cover off on a couple of things. We decided we would go deep in with Salesforce, but there's many businesses, you're really deciding if you're going to go wide or deep on a partner.
Brilliant, thank you, Clint. Let's keep going. So you've set the ambition, you've built a program, you've launched it. Talk to us a little bit about, how do you think about the key metrics that give you the insights you're looking for? How's the program performing? How do you and the rest of the business have confidence around your return on investment?
Yeah, it is good. When you set up loyalty no more is just a customer proposition. You are building a financially commercial business. So that's target there, but how do you do that where your partners win, we win, but ultimately your customers win because you'll both win there. We have big ambitions to be a top 3 loyalty program. And that's not just in travel, that's across all the different programs that are out there. And the reason for that is people have 8 to 15 different loyalty programs. You really need to take that mental availability right at the get-go. So I think what you track depends on the life cycle. We're babies, we're 2 to 3 months into this journey. So at the start, it's acquisition and scale. Our company wants it, our partners want it, we know it unlocks a lot of other doors. So, we want to hit 1 million as fast as we can, members into the program, and that'll make us the fastest growing. If we can do it within the next 6 months, fastest ever growing travel loyalty program, which will be great. But today, I think, we're 199,000, hopefully we hit over 2,000, so please sign up today in there, which is huge, good momentum there. The second one in loyalty programs, redemption is key. That shows the health of the program. We don't want people having expiring points. We want you to come back and use it. And that's why that value to reward, if you want to do Sydney Harbour Bridge and use your reward points for that, do it. If you want to start to bank your points over the next 3 years to do your bucket list trip to the Galapagos Island, do that as well, but that redemption is really key in there. And the third one is our brands themselves are investing and taking some of their marketing investment and putting it into be able to issuance of points, so you can earn on everything that you buy from us. Even the sale fare, even the Jetstar fare, all those other things that you usually don't earn points on. So with that, to our brands and our internal brands, we really need to show uplift in a couple of key areas. New customers to the group or returning of lost customers, people that haven't dealt with us in the last 3 years. We want people to buy more of their holiday through us so they don't need to look around, so we're capturing that whole picture, and that they're coming back more. If we nail those sort of 4 things, our brands will win, people are coming and redeeming, it's a lot healthier.
That's brilliant, mate. And well done, because the 52% of new customers in the program is killer. I think there's a kind of prevailing wisdom that loyalty programs do the heavy lifting with the customers you already have. So really big kudos to the team in terms of a program that's driving new to group. Just to wrap up, mate, one final question we want to go through. I mean, it's early days. You spoke about being a baby. You spoke about how tremendously fit you've turned up post-launch. What can you share with this group around key lessons that you've learned through the launch?
Yeah, there's been a couple. One, this is not beer, it's water, so I've learned a lesson today that I thought they'd give us something nice, but momentum over perfection. To be truthful, if we waited for all systems to be right, all our salespeople trained, and we got through a mass ton of work to be able to do that, we would never have launched. You can't launch something like this, but you have to build momentum and also have off the back of it real good plans in place. How do you mitigate anything that's going wrong, or how do you continue to build quickly? Alignment internally, and I come from marketing, alignment for your senior leaders is important. For our brands, for everyone in the business, from the front line to our tech, to our data teams, everyone in there. So you have to have a really clear narrative that all leaders are bought into, and we've been very fortunate with our CEO. It has been his vision, so it's really carried through the business. And last one is design for real behavior. I'm not going to change a lot of things about how people already operate. What I can do is look at those moments that need disrupting, and that'll get people to change a little bit and really play into them and our strengths. And that's why we've designed something purely on travel, because no one else is doing that, so I can win there, but I'm not going to change how people necessarily buy travel. I just want them doing it more with us, and they have some sort of financial reward to do so.
Incredible. Thank you, Clint. Look, we could sit here it is the afternoon, all afternoon. Time's almost up, but I just wanted to say personally, we've had a wonderful journey with Clint and the Flight Centre Travel Group team. It's really impressive what they've done in such a short amount of time. It is only the beginning. So I might just ask everyone to give a round of applause to Clint for coming and sharing his story today.
Cheers, Dave.
Just a bit of a wrap up, so please stick around, have a chat, come and see Clint. I think he's got a bit of time before he has to move on. There's a couple of things in here. Number one, QR code up on your left. Download the Unlocking Lasting Loyalty white paper, a really good write-up, something that you can take away from today in terms of how do you think about going forward with loyalty with Salesforce. Don't miss the marketing keynote. So 3 p.m. in the keynote room. Strongly encourage everyone to turn up to that. You cannot leave though unless you join World 360 Rewards today. You've heard how good the program is. It's only just getting started. It's only getting better. So please download the app, sign up today. Thank you, Clint. Thank you for Salesforce for having us.
More phones in the air. I want to hit that 200,000 if you could. Cheers. Thanks, everyone.